Bluebell's New School, Chapter 4. Bluebell noticed that Alfie was beginning to look less pleased with himself and a little worried. Mr. Fiddlefaddle came racing out of the door with a face like a bulldog chewing on a wasp. Miss Crisp followed hot on his heels. "Alfie Spinblast, what on earth are you doing?" Mr. Fiddlefaddle called up. His day was not going to plan. "What?" came the response from up high. Mr. Fiddlefaddle turned to Miss Crisp. "I shall have to go and get the ladder," he said. "He's too high up for me to reach from one of the windows. You stay here and keep him calm." He dashed off, not sounding very calm. Miss Crisp was left wringing her hands and occasionally calling out in a shaky voice, "Keep calm, Alfie, keep calm." Bluebell turned to Robin. "Do you think they'll be able to reach him with the ladder? Why don't they call the fire brigade? They've got really long ladders." The little girl shrugged. Mr. Fiddlefaddle reappeared with a short ladder. He placed it against the wall of the clock tower, but it was nowhere near long enough. In fact, it barely went 1/10 of the way up the wall. "Oh, crumbs!" Mr. Fiddlefaddle said, wiping the sweat off his top lip. "I shall have to call the fire brigade." Bluebell raised an eyebrow at her companion, as if to say, "I could have told him that." Just then there was a commotion, and she looked up in time to see Alfie's feet scrabbling to get a grip. He knocked off one of the roof slates, and it slithered down and smashed onto the playground in front of the children. "Everybody get back!" roared Mr. Fiddlefaddle, flapping his arms. All the children scuttled back several metres. Mr. Fiddlefaddle took out his ancient mobile phone and dialed the number for the fire brigade. "Fiddlefaddle from Foodleton," Bluebell heard the head say. "Small boy, on the clock tower roof. Of course it's an emergency. Yep, OK, 5 minutes. Righty-ho." Bluebell saw Mr. Fiddlefaddle wrestle the phone back into his pocket. "The fire brigade will be here in 5 minutes, Alfie," he shouted through cupped hands. "Stay still." Bluebell could see that Alfie was going to find staying still for 5 seconds difficult, let alone 5 minutes. "I'll have to rescue him," she said to Robin, "but I'll need your help. Can you distract them for a couple of seconds?" The girl nodded and looked pleased to have been asked to take part. Bluebell tiptoed away as the girl started to whimper loudly. She saw Robin put her hands on her tummy and say, "I think I'm going to be sick." The effect was instant. The other children all moved away from her. Miss Crisp took her by the hand to take her inside, and Mr. Fiddlefaddle rolled his eyes and huffed loudly. Bluebell took the opportunity to nip round the other side of the building to the open clock tower door. She looked at the spiral staircase which wound up into the darkness. Taking a deep breath, she stepped over the spanners and screwdrivers left by the engineers and began to climb.